From Neural Newscast, this is Nerfed, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.
Nerfed, the Fallout Resurrection. I am Vanessa Calderon.
And I'm Marcus Shaw. We've got a massive week of industry pivots, legendary remakes, and a certain Canadian mutant taking center stage at Comic-Con.
Let's start with the news that actually made me put down the Pip-Boy for a second. According to a report from Bloody Disgusting, Bethesda finally stopped playing coy and confirmed their new roadmap. We're getting remasters of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Marcus, they even mentioned the new Obsidian project is real. It's like they finally realized people actually like good writing in their apocalypses. For years, the community has been clamoring for New Vegas to get a modern coat of paint, especially since the original was so notoriously buggy on launch back in the day. Hearing that Bethesda is officially greenlighting a new project with Obsidian is the kind of news that feels almost too good to be true, but it looks like the success of the television show has forced their hand to keep the momentum going. This roadmap suggests a much more aggressive release schedule than we are used to seeing from Maryland, which is a massive relief for fans who thought we would be waiting until the 2030s for any significant movement on the franchise.
It's a huge move, Vanessa. They also confirmed Fallout 5 has entered pre-production, though that's the long-range destination. The technical kicker? Bethesda is moving everything, Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5, to Creation Engine 3. That's the same tech powering Starfield. They're essentially building a unified pipeline to juggle all these massive worlds at once. This shift to Creation Engine 3 is particularly interesting because it implies a significant overhaul in how they handle procedural generation and lighting. If Starfield was the testbed for this technology, then Fallout 5 is going to be the refinement. By creating a unified pipeline, Bethesda is trying to solve the decades-old problem of their games taking 10 years to develop. If they can share assets and physics upgrades across both Elder Scrolls and Fallout simultaneously, we might actually see these games release within a reasonable timeframe. It also means the modding community will have a single robust toolset to master, which has always been the lifeblood of these titles.
Hopefully that engine can handle the sheer weight of our expectations. Speaking of heavy hitters, San Diego Comic-Con just gave us the Marvel's Wolverine story trailer we've been starving for. Logan is trying to keep his berserker state in check. Jean Grey is looking like she's having a literal Hellfire Club identity crisis. And we saw Omega Red and Sabretooth. Oh, and a Sentinel the size of a skyscraper. The trailer really focused on the psychological toll of Logan's immortality, showing him struggling with his past in the Canadian wilderness before being pulled back into the X-Men fold. The visual fidelity is staggering, Marcus. Seeing the individual strands of fur on Logan's flannel shirt and the way the light catches his adamantium claws really shows what Insomniac is capable of when they are not restricted by the bright poppy colors of Spider-Man. This looks darker, grittier, and far more mature than anything we have seen from the studio previously. The reveal of Jean Grey was the highlight for me, as it hints at a narrative that bridges the gap between the solo Logan stories and the broader mutant struggle.
Gaming Bolt noted the narrative focus is Logan protecting mutants from Trask, which explains the Sentinel involvement. The gameplay sequences showed Logan rocking a Nick Fury-style eye patch while infiltrating a party. It's launching September 15th on PS5, and honestly, seeing Logan tear through a Reaver in 4K is exactly what the doctor ordered. The combat looks visceral and heavy, standing in stark contrast to the fluid, acrobatic movements of Peter Parker. Insomniac seems to be leaning into a brawler style that emphasizes Logan's healing factor, where taking damage is actually part of the strategy. The eye patch segment was a great nod to his patch persona from the Madripoor stories, suggesting we are going to get some detective work and stealth alongside the dismemberment. September 15th is just around the corner, and it feels like Sony is positioning this as their definitive holiday blockbuster. The inclusion of Omega Red as a primary antagonist suggests we will be getting some very unique boss fights that challenge Logan's reach and speed.
If by doctor you mean chaos enthusiast, then yes. But while PlayStation fans are winning, the Xbox camp had a rough 24 hours. Avatar Legends, the fighting game, suffered what IGN called a shock delay on Xbox just hours before launch. It's pushed back to September 3rd due to unforeseen circumstances on a back-end feature. Basically, everyone else is playing while Xbox fans are stuck in the loading screen for 6 weeks. This is a massive blow to the community because Avatar has such a dedicated following and fighting games rely heavily on that initial launch window population to build a competitive scene. If Xbox players are 6 weeks behind on the meta, they are going to get absolutely demolished in cross-platform play once they finally get their hands on it. It's frustrating because the game is finished and running on other platforms, but whatever this back-end issue is, it was serious enough to pull the plug at the 11th hour. It raises questions about the certification process and why this wasn't caught during the beta phases earlier this month.
That's a tough pill, especially since crossplay is now hamstrung at launch. But Microsoft did toss a bone to the PC crowd. Xbox backward compatibility is officially live on PC in early preview. We're talking Blinks, Conquer Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies, and Fusion Frenzy. These aren't just ports either. We're getting 4x resolution upscaling, VSync, and anisotropic filtering. It's the ultimate nostalgia trip for anyone with an Ally X. Bringing these titles to PC with modern enhancements is a brilliant move for preservation. Seeing Crimson Skies running with crystal clear textures and a stable frame rate is something fans have been asking for since the early 2000s. The fact that they are including Fusion Frenzy suggests they are looking at the social and party game potential of their legacy catalog as well. For users on handhelds like the Ally X, this makes the device feel like a portable OG Xbox that actually performs better than the original hardware. It is a smart play to keep people in the ecosystem while they wait for the bigger first-party titles to drop later this year.
I'll take the upscaled Conquer, thanks. But let's talk about the audacity of Sony. Former God of War writer Alana Pierce claimed this week that Sony knew killing physical discs by 2028 would be a PR nightmare. They reportedly issued the strictest social media guidelines ever to gag staff from talking about it. Apparently, being digital only is more lucrative than having fans who actually own their games. This move toward an all-digital future is terrifying for collectors and proponents of media preservation. If Sony moves to a 2028 sunset for physical media, we are looking at the end of the secondhand market as we know it. No more trading in games at the local shop, no more borrowing a disc from a friend, and certainly no more owning a permanent copy that can't be revoked by a license agreement update. The report about the gag order suggests that internal pushback was significant, which is why the corporate office had to step in with such heavy-handed guidelines. They know the optics are terrible, but they seem committed to the path because the profit margins are simply too high to ignore.
It's all about the margins, Vanessa. Sony keeps 100% of first-party digital revenue versus 65% for physical. Analysts say even if 500,000 people protest, it's a drop in the ocean. Meanwhile, Miyamoto over at Nintendo is defending their own remake spree. He told Famitsu that remaking Star Fox and Ocarina of Time isn't just about the past, it's the foundation for future developments. Basically, play the old stuff now so they can afford to build the new stuff later. This philosophy from Nintendo is a bit more palatable than Sony's approach because it feels like they are using their history to bridge the gap to the next console generation. By bringing Ocarina of Time and Star Fox into the modern era, they are introducing these legendary franchises to a generation of kids who never owned a Nintendo 64. It's a sustainable model that keeps the revenue flowing while their main development team spend 5 or 6 years crafting the next big Zelda or Mario breakthrough. It also keeps the brand identity strong across generations, ensuring that Link and Fox McCloud remain household names forever.
A classic Nintendo move. Use the nostalgia to fund the future. Between $1,000 console warnings from Peter Moore and $260 million digital pre-orders for GTA 6, the industry is definitely shifting into a new, slightly more expensive gear. The price of entry for high-end gaming is reaching a tipping point where consumers are going to have to make some very tough choices about where they invest their time and money. When you have games like Grand Theft Auto 6 pulling in $250 million before they even hit the shelves, it shows that the blockbuster model is still king, even if the surrounding hardware and physical media landscape is shifting beneath our feet. We are moving into an era of hyper-consolidation and premium pricing, where a $1,000 console might not just be a warning, but a reality for the next generation of hardware. It is a lot to take in, but That is why we're here to break it down every week.
It's a brave new world, and we're just trying to keep our frame rates stable in it. That's our wrap to this week's gaming news. I'm Marcus Shaw.
And I'm Vanessa Calderon. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. Check us out at Nerfed.ai. Thanks for listening to Nerfed.
This has been Nerfed on Neural Newscast, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.